Hello, peace and blessings, peace, love, and light family. How are you? This is Ivana Divine, and welcome to my new YouTube channel. Yay! I'm excited. For this. I hope y'all can hear me okay. And forgive me for the background, the construction. There's some constructions. You might hear some motorcycles from my humbly beautiful abode in Mexico. Where I'm residing in Quintana Roo, Playa del Carmen, specifically Mexico. And so they're doing some construction next door. So there you go. That's that. But I wanted to be outside to record this video because it would be only right. It would be only right if I was outside recording this video because we're talking about today my journey with this water fast, with my raw diet, and transition into plant-based. And so this is very monumental for me, and I really wanted to document and share, video document my journey and share this with you all because this is a pivotal point in time for my healing and spiritual growth journey, and I'm sure that it can support and help someone else. So here we are. So let's see, where do I even begin? Well, I just want to talk about my motivation. So, okay, let me back up. So I'm doing a 3-day water fast. This water fast will then support me in transitioning into a raw diet, mainly fruit, and then some other raw foods, and then transitioning into plant-based. Okay, this is transitory, transitional diet here, or transitional lifestyle, because it's not just a diet. This is not just something I'm doing for 7 days and then I'm going back to my old habits. This is me transitioning into a new lifestyle and a version of myself, essentially, on my healing journey. So I'm doing this 3-day water fast. And the reason why I chose to do this water fast is, one, because I'm really connected to and I believe in the power of the element of water. You can see with my blue hair, water is the element that I have mainly in my astrological chart. I'm a Cancer moon, a Scorpio sun, and a Taurus rising. But I have tons of Scorpio energy in my chart, a Cancer energy, as I mentioned, and just water is just all up and through there. So that's the element that resonates with me the most. I'm very in tune, in touch with my emotions, with the moon, and everything. And so, so what better way to cleanse my body than with water? We cleanse our bodies when we take a shower, of course, we take a bath. And so that was also a huge motivation for me to move to Mexico, where I live, to be closer to water. And so this fast is to support me in transitioning with water, to cleanse, to heal my body, and to just reset my whole system. And then our bodies are 70 to 80% water, right? So water is just a very powerful element that we're all connected to. And so this is my first 3-day water fast. Let me just say, this is my first water fast. I've done fasts before, like some intermittent fasting. I've done some juice fasting and juice detoxing for days, up to 15 days, 16 days is the most I've done. But this is my first time just being on water only. And I was doing a lot of research and just hearing a lot of positive things about this water fast, and just kind of how it is a complete reset to the body, and really how powerful our body is, that we can survive up to 40 days or so, like 1.5 your body weight on water alone. Granted, I ain't trying to be out here 40 days and 40 nights. I mean, shout outs to Jesus. That's a whole nother story, but that's not what I'm doing. I'm not doing a 40-day fast, but it's people who out here, they do 30-day water fast. They do, maybe 40 days and things like that. But for me, 3 days. 3 is a sacred number. 3 is about 3 is a God number. It's the, we learn about the sun, the moon, and stars. 3 makes up the universe. Sun, moon, and stars. The 3 main elements of the universe. We think about the God energy with the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Like 3 is just that holy sacred number. And this this fast is, and this journey is not just physical for my physical health, but for my spiritual well-being. And so so that's why I chose 3-day water fast. Also overall, just with me deciding to go and do this raw transitional to plant-based diet is because I've been a pescatarian off and on for the last couple of years. Chicken was really like the main thing that was hard for me to break. Like, I love me some chicken, y'all. Like, y'all know, my black people, you know, we love our chicken. Like, I ain't no shame in my chicken game. Well, it wasn't any shame. Let me say it wasn't, because we passed that. I'm past that now. But it wasn't no shame in my chicken game, and so I love chicken. I had cut out pork and beef years ago, like maybe I don't know, 5-6 years ago, something like that. I cut out pork and beef, and so this was me. With the pescatarian was me transitioning to cut out, you know, other meats, like the turkey. And so actually I moved to Mexico back in September of 2020. I will share another video with my journey to Mexico and moving here during the pandemic and all that. I'll drop another video to share that. But moving here, I was kind of forced to not have turkey anymore. Like, back in the States, I was still doing my turkey bacon, turkey sausage, turkey burgers. Yum, was loving it. But moving here, they didn't have no turkey. They didn't have turkey anything. So you couldn't get sliced turkey at a deli or at at the grocery store or anywhere. Not at the bodegas. Like, no turkey. So yeah, it just kind of forced me to not eat turkey anymore. And so I was just mainly eating chicken and seafood. And so as I was just going along in my journey, I'm like, okay, let me, like, I'm already not doing turkey. Let me just, you know, try out the no chicken, especially because for me, so another part of this healing journey with my physical body is that I was diagnosed with endometriosis about 6 years ago. And so it's just been a whole journey of me learning about how foods play a role in inflammation. So endometriosis, for those who may not know, is a disease, a women's disease, where the endometrial lining of the uterus that sheds when you have your cycle, that grows, that same tissue that sheds during the cycle grows outside and around the uterus, and it can also spread to the other organs like your stomach, your gut, your intestines, your digestive system. And it can go up even further, but your uterus, for women, the uterus and the gut, the stomach, the intestines, all that is right in the same area. So that's normally kind of where the tissues will grow, essentially. And so so with that, I had the surgery. There's a laparoscopic surgery that you can have that will, cut the tissues out so they won't keep growing and things like that. However, it's not a complete cure, if you will. The surgery just alleviates the symptoms, which can be like heavy periods and painful sex, painful periods, all the emotions and the hormones that's involved. And so basically endometriosis is a disease that feeds off hormones and inflammation of those tissues. And so I learned all of this, not just from my doctor, because at the time, we talking like what, 2015, 2014, it was still a lot of research and things like that being done on it, and the only remedy for endometriosis, one, they couldn't even diagnose you until they actually would have to go inside with the microscope to actually see it in your womb, for women around your womb space, that you have this disorder, this disease. Let me not call it disorder, because our bodies are naturally, we are in order, but we unfortunately deal with dis-ease caused by certain things. So they couldn't diagnose me completely until they went in, and then it's like, well, we're going in to look at it and confirm it's there anyway, so let's clear it out. And so that's kind of how the procedure is done, or was done. I don't know if anything's changed since then, but most of the time women would come with all of these symptoms, and that would be just something that they would consider, and you wouldn't even really be able to remove it unless you went in to confirm the disease and then remove it all in the same setting, essentially. So, so the research I was doing back then, I had all the symptoms for it, but I wasn't sure, and so I was really nervous about getting this surgery too, and just like having them go in and cut on my reproductive organs and cut on, you know, my body. But I decided to go through with it, and I did. And they told me after the surgery that it has a high likelihood of coming back if I don't do birth control, if I don't take birth control to manage the hormones, because again, it feeds off of hormones. And so if I didn't take the birth control to manage the hormones, suppress the hormones, then there's a higher increased probability that it would grow back. And when they told me that, you know, I never liked birth control. I just never did. I'm just like, I don't want to take it. Like, why take another pill, another something that's just altering my natural flow and like what my body naturally does. And so, it's quiet. Okay, y'all. Hopefully I can get through this video with less noise and things. But the construction is still happening. I don't know what time it will be done. But anyway, the story continues. So, where was I? Endometriosis. Yes. Okay. So, basically, now the dog wants to bark. I'm sorry, dog. Okay, so I decided that, you know, I didn't want to do the birth control, and that I was just going to essentially just tackle this thing on my own. I didn't decide that immediately because I didn't know what to tackle or how to tackle it. And then after that, a couple of months later, maybe not months, but a couple of years later, one day I got really sick. I had a chicken cheesesteak, y'all. Listen, y'all, this is back in my chicken licking days, okay? I like my chicken. And I remember I was always like working out in the gym, stuff like that, just being active. And I remember this particular Friday was my cheat day. I was like, this is gonna be my cheat meal. I'm gonna have me a chicken cheesesteak from this carryout that was near my house. And I'm from Baltimore originally, by the way. Shout outs to the DMV. Shout outs to Baltimore. That's how you gotta say it when you're from Baltimore. You say Baltimore with a D, not Baltimore. I mean, I can say it that way too, like Baltimore, but it's Baltimore. So anyway, yeah, and I wanted to have a chicken cheesesteak this day. And I ate the chicken cheesesteak, and oh my God, that changed my entire life that day. I got so sick. My stomach was in pain. It just felt like somebody was just like, not even like a pain like a bubble gut, but it was like sharp pains. It was just terrible. And yeah, it was really terrible. And so from then, you know, I thought it was just food poisoning, but it lasted for like almost a week. And it wasn't just like your typical nausea or, you know, like you gotta go to the bathroom. It was sharp pains. My back was hurting. I mean, I was just in so much pain, and I went to some specialists. And you know, honestly, it's a whole nother story about how Black women are treated in the medical system and how we're done. A lot of the times our experiences are just dismissed, and you know, our conditions aren't taken as seriously. This is from example after example. Many people I know, especially around our reproductive health, I think sometimes you know, there's a lot of things that go under the radar with us. And you know, this is me now saying this from experience, and from many other women that I know who've had issues where they've been underdiagnosed, misdiagnosed, or just kind of just like brushed off. And in my opinion, the Western medical system is just incomplete. You know, it's just incomplete because we are whole entire beings. We're not just a physical body that will give you things that you can just see, right? Like, because a lot of medical doctors, they go based on x-rays and CAT scans and, you know, things like that, and things that they can see, right? That's why endometriosis isn't fully diagnosed until they can see it. But this was already happening within my body before they could see it, and I couldn't have been diagnosed until they were able to see it. So anyway, they need a lot of hard facts. And the thing about it is, we are whole, complete beings. We are comprised of an emotional body, a spiritual body, an ethereal body, right? Like, we are energy as well. We're matter and we're energy. So you can't just treat the matter. You can't just look at the physical part of us and not also look at the energetic. But I understand that, you know, doctors are trained to just do what they do. However, that wasn't enough for me. I went to my primary care doctor. They referred me to a specialist. I think I may have seen another specialist, and it just was like, we don't know what to tell you, sis. I mean, they didn't say that, but basically that's what they said. They didn't say it. They said it without saying it. I hope my earrings are not making too much noise. That's so many noises. I hope y'all vibing with me and just at least able to follow along. But yeah, and so, you know, they just was giving me the runaround and just recommending things that just didn't even make sense. Like, oh, just stop eating tomatoes for a while, or maybe just stop drinking coffee. But I knew it was beyond that. It was beyond just these little minute diet changes. I just felt something within my whole body that just was like, hell to the no. Like, my body just went into like this war. And so, you know, with that, that's what kind of really catapulted me on this path of this naturopathic, holistic path, to really discover what was happening and what was going on within me. And so that led me to this place that did colon hydrotherapy. She also did like some treatment with herbs and things like that. And that's how I first got introduced to that space of medicine, that the naturopathic, you know, or homeopathic way of medicine. And that just resonated with me. I'm like, oh yeah, I don't just need to get another surgery. That's what they were recommending, a surgery to go in and see what was going on with my gut and do something else. And, you know, it was just like, it just felt incomplete. And so going that route and cleansing my colon and going through that whole process, and then you know, it just really just catapulted me and just wanting to know more and learn more about this entire more Eastern based way of medicine. And I started getting foot detoxes, and I, you know, started learning about detoxes and detoxing the body, and, you know, the organs and the glands and things like that, and foods, how foods play a part, because no doctor really will, I mean, they may say eat healthy, but doctors are not trained on nutrition. And nutrition is so vital to a lot of the diseases and the cancers and all the things that we deal with. And so that's why, you know, that's why it was important for me to make this connection and correlation with food, and this other path, you know, of medicine and of healing really opened me up to that. And so since then, that's what really, you know, I cut out the chicken for a little while, and I had been through spurts of not eating meat completely for a while, and it was just always so challenging. It was always so challenging. And you know, years went by, and I started to feel some of those like endometriosis type symptoms again, where I would get cramps really bad, or I would get heavy blood clots and things like that on my menstrual. And you know, I just kept hearing the doctor say, like, his voice replaying in my head, like, it could come back. And so I was just like, you know what, I need to do something about this. Like, I don't want to take the birth control. That's like not an option for me. I just was so anti-birth control. I just, you know, also it's other reasons why I'm anti-birth control, especially when it comes to Black and Indigenous women, but that's a whole nother tangent that I don't want to go on. But I just was like, no, you know, I don't want to take these chemicals and this medicine messing up my womb, messing up my reproductive system. And that's what I knew for sure at the time, before I even had the information and knowledge. Just something in my body just was like a hard no. And I'm grateful for that wisdom that came through me at the time. I was a lot younger, but I just knew that that wasn't the route that I wanted to go. And so fast forward fast forward, I got into doing more healthy lifestyle changes. I would do the juice fast and the juice detox. I would get colonics regularly, and then I was doing the foot detox. And then the foot detox, if you guys have ever tried it, it's when, or it's called, what is it called? It's a foot detox, but it's also called, it's another name for it, I want to say. I can't remember. But if you just search foot detox or like look up a local place near you, I'm sure you can find it. So, sorry, I'm just getting myself repositioned. So yeah, so I decided to do this, the foot detoxes I was having done, and then through that, she told me that I had Candida, and it was coming out in the water. That's what happened with the foot detox. Like, so what happens is like through the meridians and all the points in your feet that are connected to each of your major organs, you can see kind of what's going on with each one. So in the water, the practitioner can see, you know, where you have like things coming out of your kidneys or your liver, you know, your womb. She could tell me, you know, if I was about to come on my period. She could see the heavy metals. I mean, this is like in the water, and the colors of the water and the different particles in the water would identify certain things. And so, you know, with that, you know, I went back to my colon hydrotherapy place, and I told them about the Candida, and she was recommending the Candida Diet. And so the Candida Diet is something I did a lot of research on, and it is the most intense diet ever. It's like basically just die, because you can't eat nothing. And the foods you can't eat, Lord. It's similar to a gluten-free diet, but it's like gluten-free, whole 30 times 10. If you know what I mean. Like, it's like you can't eat anything that can be processed or converted in your body that can turn into or be processed into sugar. So no breads, of course, no carbs of any kind, not even any fruit. Okay, and like I've always loved my fruit, and I'm like, I can't have fruit. Like the carbs and all of that was one thing, but like not even be able to have fruit. Condiments like ketchups and certain not quite vinegar, certain vinegars, I want to say, yeah, like certain vinegars, like they have molecules and things like that that can be essentially turned into sugar in the body, glucose. And so so the diet requires you to cut out all of that, and for a lengthy amount of time, maybe like a month and a half, maybe like 6 weeks or something like that, maybe 8, depending on how severe your case was. And another thing that was an indicator that I had Candida before I knew what it was is that I would get reoccurring yeast infections. And I didn't know what that was about. I was just like, okay, here's another one, and I would go to the OBGYN and get the pill, or get the little, you know, cream stuff and put it up there, and it's done. But I was noticing it was happening, like reoccurring. And so yeah, so it was just like all those telltale signs that told me I had Candida. And so then went on my journey doing this Candida diet, and I just failed miserably, y'all. The first time I remember I had left like the grocery store, and I just got in my car and I just broke down, cried. And I cried and just cried because I just felt so deprived, and I just felt so sad, and I just felt like, oh my God, I can't have anything. Like, I can't eat this, I can't eat that. And it's a mental piece, and I was depressed because my mind just went into all the things I couldn't have. And I mean, you go to certain websites and things like that, they would give you lists of foods, and I was watching a bunch of YouTube videos and finding different doctors and things who recommended a certain protocol with the food, but in my mind, it was just a list of things I could not have, and it was just like all the things that I love. And so it was hard. So the first time I felt miserably. Second time, I lasted maybe about a week, but it really wasn't enough to give my body the full reset that it needed. So when you have issues of the digestion, of the gut, Candida, or especially just when you've been on like mainly a meat diet and you're trying to just reset your body, and you have certain diseases that's coming up as a result, your body needs a whole entire microbiome gut reset, right? And so that's why a lot of us, you know, especially women, Dairy is a culprit. Dairy is a major culprit with the wheats, the sugars, the carbs, the breads, the white flours, all of that kind of stuff. And so so that's what was feeding the yeast. That's what was what sound effect? That's what was feeding the yeast, the Candida. That's what was feeding all of these culprits and things, you know, bacteria, all of the things in my body. And so it was really hard for me to do that diet. And so over the years I got into juicing and juice fasting and juice detoxing, which I love. But every time I would complete a juice fast, like I would go in a 3-day, a 5-day, a 7-day, a 15-day. And every time after I would finish, I would feel great. You know, I would feel some vitality to my womb. And another thing about it is that I was experiencing dryness. And I thought it was just me. I thought it was like, oh, okay, maybe it's just me. But you start, you know, looking around, not looking around, but, you know, talking to your sister friends and other women, is like, ooh, like, okay, mine's a little extra dry. Like, it ain't supposed to be this dry. So, you know, that's how I also got into yoni steaming, which is another thing. So anyway, I know this is heavily into like the womb wellness and me talking about my womb journey, but that's what this whole journey is really about for me. It's about my womb. It's about healing her. And I say her because she is a divine portal, right? She's a divine organ in and of herself. And so that's how I like to talk to her, talk about her, is to talk about her as a her, right? It's very much a part of me, a piece of me. And yeah, and so with all of these things, you know, with you know, healing my gut was also healing my womb. They're interchangeable. They're one and the same. I couldn't heal one without the other. Like, they are, you know, like I said, this whole region, you think about it, it's all connected. So a lot of times when people have issues of the womb, PCOS, endometriosis, fibroids, all of that, it's connected to your gut health, which is also connected, of course, to your diet, your digestion, and the foods that we put in our body. And so, granted, I'm no health expert, just disclaimer. I know it's like mid-video in. I'm not a health expert. I'm just sharing my experience and my journey. So, what else? Where was I? Next thing. Every time I would do the juice fasts and the juice detoxing, and I would go periods of not eating meat and all of that, I was still I would come back from that and I transitioned into more of a vegan-ish, and I say vegan-ish because I also later identified that dairy was a major culprit for me. Like dairy just broke my skin out really bad, and I'll share more videos and more just about my skin as I'm like healing and clearing my skin. The acne, the cystic acne. It was breaking my skin out really bad. It was also just causing pain, the heavy periods, the heavy blood clotting. I realized I was doing more research on endometriosis, and you know, that the dairy is inflammatory, the milk, the cheeses, the butters, all of that is coming from a cow's hormones, the hormones from a cow. And so all of that was essentially feeding the inflammation and contributing to overgrowth. And so there's other diseases and other things that come from inflammation. And Dr. Sabi, if you're familiar, he talks a lot about inflammation. He talks about mucus kind of being like the only disease. Is like everything is caused from mucus, whether it's like the you know, the high blood pressure, the diabetes, the arthritis, any of the itises, and things like that is caused from a mucus overgrowth and inflammation, which essentially is linked to dairy. So this whole, like this with the endometriosis really sparked this whole journey for me. And so I started to cut out dairy. It was super hard. Like, I loved cheese, and you think about it, like everything has cheese curls, cheese puff, Doritos, excuse me, anything breads with butter, milk, ice cream, all of that stuff. I love mac and cheese, y'all. Mac and cheese, and on Thanksgiving, oh my gosh, I loved it, but I could not have it, and so it was really hard for me to get off of it. And you know, I say veganish because I would mainly do no dairy, and I started getting into when I moved to New York back in 2018. That's when I had more access to vegan things, because where I was living, well, I was kind of between DC and Baltimore, but definitely mainly in Baltimore. It wasn't a lot of stores at the time that I could just easily get to that had dairy-free cheeses and butters and cream, you know, dairy-free cream cheese and stuff like that. Like it wasn't as accessible. When I moved to New York, when I moved to Brooklyn, then it was just like they had stores on every corner where I can get a vegan this and a vegan that and a dairy-free this and a dairy-free that. So that was great. However, what I noticed is though it turned me into a junk food vegan, well, veganish, because a lot of the times I would do the mostly non-dairy, because I would still allow a little bit of dairy to come in. Like I would do, you know, maybe a cookie here or a piece of bread there or something like that that would still have some dairy in it, but I wouldn't have as much. So it really was a transition of cutting back. I was cutting back on dairy. I didn't just go cold turkey and cut it out completely. I was cutting back on it, and so my body was just like, we can't do no more cut back. It's time to cut out. And I, you know, shout outs to the body, because our body really tells us everything we need to know. It tells us everything we need to understand, what we need to know about what's good for us and what's not good for us, right? Like when you just think about when you feel an emotion, you feel it in your body, you feel it in your chest, you feel it in your stomach, you feel it in your heart, you feel it in your neck, you get a headache, you know, you get a stomach ache, you know, all of those things, you get aches. Your body is telling you things, it's giving us information. But a lot of times with the food, y'all, we get so addicted, because these things, the sugars, the carbs, the salts, all that is addictive. We get addicted to it and we get so numb, really numb and disconnected from our body, especially Black and Indigenous people, and our relationship with our body is very, very, very profound. That, you know, the foods keep us disconnected and keep us numb, keep us addicted and distracted from our bodies and the information that is wanting to come through for us. Or we just ignore it. We just think that it's just how it is and, like, you know, how it's supposed to be, because we don't know any other way. And so I started to discover that my body felt different when I was doing my juice cleansing and my juice fasting only, but that's not sustainable. I mean, I just wouldn't want to drink juice the rest of my life. So, you know, I thought I was doing a good job, honestly, cutting back on the dairy and doing the vegan thing, but I realized a lot of the foods that I was still eating on the vegan diet was processed foods. I mean, like I was doing the Beyond Meat, the Beyond Burgers all the time, the vegan sausages, the vegan bacon, you know, from the store, a lot of soy and all of those types of things. And, you know, just, I thought it was okay. And, you know, it was okay for where I was then. But this whole, you know, journey to transition from, you know, raw to plant-based, that's what I want to talk about next, plant-based, is so important, because the plants is essentially the closest thing to the earth. It's the closest thing to nature, and it's really the most, the best thing that we can be putting into our body. And so, and I'm not just talking about eating a salad all day, every day, because Lord knows I like variety, I like food, I like season, and all of that. And it has been a challenge for me to accept the information that I know, and not just accept it, but really go from knowing better to doing better, because that's a whole journey in and of itself. When you know you should be doing something, or you should be making another choice, and actually making the choice, that's a whole journey in and of itself, y'all. And this is me sharing the journey it took for me to get to this place where I feel so ready and motivated and supported to take this next step, to go and do this plant-based diet. Especially now, because there are so many resources with recipes and things like that, and I enjoy cooking, And I'm an artist, and so I'm just like, okay, let me treat food and cooking like art. Like I get to make this thing and make this recipe. And so that's what this journey is about. That's why I'm excited. I'm like, oh, okay, this is a challenge, but like I want it to be a fun challenge. It doesn't have to be hard. Like I'm not like, oh my God, I can't eat this. Like, you know, and that's where I was before. But a lot of it too, over the years, is me changing my mindset and me changing my reason why. You know, of course, none of them, you're not, once did you hear me say, I'm trying to lose 5 pounds, I'm trying to look snatched, okay? Because your girl's already snatched. But I went through a period of time where I was, you know, contemplating some means to be even more snatched. But it's not about that. And another part of this, like I said, mainly it's been mindset and spiritual sets, meaning where you are spiritually, your motivation and your reason why. Because from me back then, it was about my physical health, but now it's beyond that. It's my physical body, and also knowing that my womb is a portal, is a sacred vessel, and it is something that she is something that I need to tend to and pour into and nurture, because as a woman, it is the seat, it is the center of our divine feminine energy. It is the seat of our intuition and our inner knowing, our inner guidance system, and our wisdom. And so if your womb is shut off, if your womb is diseased, if your womb is crying out and having all these disorders and diseases and discomfort and pain and just this continuous cycle of things that you've held on to and that's going on within her, you won't be able to access the fullness of your divinity as a divine feminine being. They go hand in hand, right? Like, this is our superpower. I know y'all can't see me pointing right now, but I'm pointing to my womb. This is our superpower, okay? If it wasn't for me healing things with my womb, not just physically, but emotionally, this whole journey has been emotional. It's been a lot of emotional and energetic work of me going through the healing of childhood trauma, healing of mother wounds, right? Father wounds, a lot of other traumas from abusive relationships and past lovers, and clearing that energy. All of that has been a part of this journey and the build up for me to be able to now step into this next layer of the physical healing so that I can maximize the magnitude of my divine center. I just want y'all to chew on that for a minute. Just allow that to sit and resonate with you. Because if you're watching this video, I'm sure I'm speaking to you. There's so much power in our womb, and it's not just for making babies, right? It's not just to be an oven to make some babies and to birth babies. I mean, that is also true, right? Like, that is a power. Let me not, I don't want you guys to think I'm undermining that. But sometimes women, we just think that like that's what our womb is for like a baby. And yes, it is for another human being for us to bring life through for another human being, but it is also for us to create, right? To create and birth and manifest ideas and businesses and creations and you know, all of the things, our magic, anything that we want to manifest, it comes through the power and the seat of our womb, our creative center. So if you're feeling blocked, if you're feeling confused, if you're feeling stuck, if you know, feeling like you don't know what your purpose is, if you feel like you know, just stagnant in your life and things like that, let's look at the womb. I really truly believe that a lot of it starts with issues and blockages and things going on in our womb space, right? And it's all connected. Our womb space, our gut health, you know, and our chakra systems, because the womb represents the chakra system, represents the sacral chakra, excuse me. The sacral chakra, and that's connected to our creativity, and you know, our ability to manifest. Even the root chakra, it's all connected. The solar plexus, these lower half, these three main lower chakras, the three main lower chakras, you know, is so important and vital. And a lot of times when we have things going on in our life, when we are not flowing in abundance, where we're not flowing in prosperity, where we're not able to manifest and create and even you know, just feel satisfied and complete in life and in tune with our purpose and things like that. A lot of times it can be coming from these issues and imbalances with the lower chakra system. And so I'll do some videos to talk more about that later. But basically, this whole this whole thing is just showing how it's all connected full circle, on a physical level, on a metaphysical level, beyond the physical, energetically, and emotional and spiritual. It's all connected, and we are whole entire beings. And so that's why it's important that we address the things in our life, and that we live life from this place, from this knowingness, from this truth that we are whole entire beings. And that we can't just look at one piece or be connected to one area of our life without being connected to the other parts, because if so, then you're disconnected. And so for me, as I've been on this journey, like I said, a lot of the motivation is spiritual for me also, because I know that I have a great calling. Oh, sorry y'all, my foot is asleep. And granted, this is day 2 of the water fast, so woo. Yeah, I'm feeling different things in my body. I know for me personally, I have a great responsibility for my life and what God is calling me to do. And the sacral chakra, the womb space, also is where we experience and where a lot of self-doubt comes from, as well, especially in our root chakra also. And for me, that's been a huge part of my journey, is doubting myself and not being confident and not being able to access, the fullness of who I am and the fullness of my power and the fullness of my magic. That's what I'm talking about. So if you want to tap in on that level, I promise you, when you clean up your body, the channel, the vessel, your body is an altar. It is the direct link, that direct connection to God. Because we are expressions of God. And so when we clean up our bodies and our channels, then we can then allow more of our gifts to come online. We can allow more of our magic to come online. We can allow more of our higher chakras to be, opened and enlightened, so that we can, go through life and experience life with ease. From a place of ease, from a place of faith and trust and knowingness, and accessing our inner guidance system, and accessing our intuition, and accessing all the miracles that we have access to. When we can actually hear the things we need to hear, and understand and sense and be guided in the ways that we need to be guided for our own individual paths. And so that's why this work is so important to me, and why I'm on this path, because it's been a long time coming. And even though I've made some beautiful growth on my journey, this is just the next level. Healing is not linear all the time. Sometimes it goes like this, right? Like it goes like this, sometimes it goes like this, and you may go down a little bit, but essentially you want to keep going up, and it does. I feel like our healing journey, you do keep going up, but it's not a straight shot up sometimes. And so this whole journey for me has been the ebb and flow, and going through the dips and the ups and downs, for me to learn so many things and be able to sit here today and share the knowledge that I have, but really share my journey, and just where I am, going to the next level of it. So let me sip my water right now. Whew. Oh, my food just cut on. I was gonna say, is it about to rain? Because it's been raining. That's why I was like, let me get and do this video today. Especially because today is day 2 of the water fast. Yesterday I didn't have as much energy. I slept a lot of the day, and also it was raining. It was pouring down raining, and I didn't want to just be in the house with the rain. I mean, I enjoyed the rain. I wanted to enjoy the rain and not be trying to like do this with the rain. Because we're connecting with that water element. So I did enjoy the rain, and I enjoyed sleep. And also I had some headaches yesterday. So again, this was water fast, y'all. This is a new step for me. With the water fast, but it's a beautiful step, and I love that we have this little water effect in the background. It's just like it just activated, yes. So it's day 2. I'm still feeling good and overall with my energy. It's just that yesterday I had the headaches. Today, not so much. A slight little headache here and there, but it's very faint. And when I do experience cravings, but as I've been craving, I've been just drinking water. And so today I poured some, I just squeezed some fresh lemon into my water. Yesterday I mainly just drank water, and I put some B12. I have been doing my B12 drops. I don't know if I have that out here with me. But if you are deciding to go on a water fast, and even if you're, you could have not had any thing to do with what I shared about Candida and endometriosis and womb health, but if you just want to do a water fast just for your health in general, it would be a great reset, and a great way to level in your body and give it a break, give your digestive system a break. Because when we give our digestive system a break, then we have that energy that we can use for anything else, to be creative, to mastermind, to allow our brain faculties and other senses and other things to come online. Right? Like they say, when you don't use one sense, like if you go blind or you lose your hearing, other senses become magnified. And so with that, just on day 2, I definitely feel, I feel this sense of groundedness. I feel this sense of connection to my body, even deeper than what I normally experience. And I've been doing some movement, some yoga. Yesterday I didn't do anything. I just want to give myself a complete break. I didn't do any yoga, but today I did, and it was so yummy and so powerful. It was just wow. I just was feeling the poses and feeling my body on the ground and just in the movement of it all. And that's all I'm gonna say for now. But it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. And so one thing I want to also share is that what hesitated me from going on this journey, this raw, because that's what this whole thing is about, me going raw and plant-based, raw to transition into plant-based. I was afraid I would lose a lot of weight. And I'm like, I don't want to be out here all skinny, because like I said, I enjoy being snatched, but I didn't want to be skinny, and I didn't want to lose a lot of weight, lose my curves as a woman, my figure, my hips, and all my yumminess, you know what I'm saying? But I really had to sit with myself and come to the fact that this journey is about calling in the next version of myself, the higher version of myself, right? Because when you do these cleanses and you clean up your body, your channel, it's about stepping into the next version of yourself, your higher self. That's essentially what it is. Because the lower self, the lower vibrational self, is eating all the foods we're addicted to. We're controlled by things that's taking us offline, taking us away from our spiritual gifts and away from our gifts and our knowledge and our intellect and the full capacity of our beingness. And that's low vibrational. So high vibrational is eating high vibration foods, and foods that's connected to the earth and the plants, and the things that come directly from God's creation. So that was another mental piece I had to get over for any women out there who, maybe feeling that same hesitation. Cause I'm curvy and I like my curves, and that was another thing I had to really sit with. It's not about holding on anymore. It's not about holding on anymore. It's not about staying in the same ways of being. It's not about me clinging to the old me. It's about stepping into the new and into the unknown, right? Because I don't know exactly what my body will do on this, as I make this lifestyle change. But I do know that I can eat healthy foods and feel good. And so what's more important, how I look or how I feel? And not even that I have to let go of one for the other. I can still look good. I can still look good but be healthy looking, have healthy fat and healthy weight, and healthy curves, that's fed from the earth, from the land, and not fed by a bunch of soy or a bunch of dairy or a bunch of extra protein that I don't need in my diet and things like that. So yeah, I think that's mostly what I I wanted to share today. Like I said, it's day 2. I'm doing this for 3 days, and then I will transition to do just fruits for a couple of weeks, and then into more other raw foods, into plant-based. So I'm gonna be sharing this journey, y'all. I'm gonna be sharing this journey. I'm excited for this journey. I'm excited to share it with you all, and yeah, I pray that it resonates and that that you are inspired or motivated to maybe do the same. Do your research first, okay? Do your research on water fasting and raw diets and plant-based diets and things like that, because everybody is different, but this is just what has been calling and speaking to me. And I know so many of us could absolutely benefit from a plant-based diet, or having more plant-based meals in your diet. And really, that's what it's about. You know, that's what it's about. It's about nourishing ourselves, honoring our bodies, honoring our altars. And for women, it's about healing and reconnecting to the womb. The womb is so powerful, so powerful. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. And I'm wishing you all so much love and light on your sacred and individual paths. And thank you for being here with me and for watching this video. And I pray and trust that you receive something from it. And so if so, that make sure you comment below. Make sure you subscribe. Do all the all the YouTube channel things that you do. Like, subscribe, comment, share, tag, all the things. All right, y'all. So I'm about to go finish drinking this water, and yeah, so I'll chat with you soon. Bye for now.